For over 3 decades, one vehicle has been as much a part of American neighborhood as front porches and mailboxes. The boxy, white Grumman Long Life Vehicle, or LLV, has been the faithful workhorse of the United States Postal Service since 1987. But now, after delivering billions of pieces of mail across millions of miles, this automotive icon is finally reaching the end of its remarkable journey. Today, we're saying goodbye to a legend and exploring how one vehicle became so deeply woven into the fabric of American life that its retirement marks the end of an entire era. Chapter 1. The Birth of an Icon. Our story begins in the early 1980s, when the U.S. Postal Service faced a crisis. Their aging fleet of Jeep DJ5s was literally falling apart. These vehicles, originally designed for civilian use, simply weren't built for the demanding stop-and-go nature of mail delivery. Postal workers were dealing with mechanical failures, uncomfortable working conditions, and vehicles that were becoming increasingly expensive to maintain. The USPS needed something revolutionary, a vehicle designed specifically for mail delivery from the ground up. Grumman Corporation, a company better known for building military aircraft like the F-14 Tomcat, the same company that built some of the world's most advanced fighter jets, was now tasked with creating the perfect mail truck. But Grumman approached this challenge with the same precision they brought to aerospace engineering. They studied every aspect of mail delivery, how carriers moved, what they needed to access, how the vehicle would be used in every conceivable weather condition and terrain type across America. The result was the LLV, a right-hand drive vehicle with a sliding door, high visibility, and a design optimized for the unique demands of postal delivery. The first vehicles rolled off the Grumman production line in Montgomeryville, Pennsylvania in 1987, and they were unlike anything America had seen before. Chapter 2. Engineering for Eternity. What made the LLV special wasn't flashy technology or luxury features. It was the obsessive attention to the mundane details that matter when you're making thousands of stops every day. The right-hand drive configuration meant carriers could access mailboxes without leaving their seat. The sliding door provided easy entry and exit, no awkward door swinging in tight spaces. The step-in height was carefully calculated so carriers wouldn't strain themselves getting in and out hundreds of times per day. Grumman used aircraft-grade aluminum for the body, making it lightweight yet incredibly durable. The design was deliberately simple. Fewer complex systems meant fewer things that could break down. These vehicles were tested in Death Valley heat and Minnesota winters. They were driven over curbs, through floods, and down roads that would challenge military vehicles. The long life, in the name, wasn't marketing hype. It was a promise, and that promise was largely kept. While the original plan called for a 24-year service life, many LLVs have now been in service for over 35 years. Some have logged over 300,000 miles and are still running daily routes. The total purchase price for the entire LLV fleet was approximately $1.1 billion for nearly 142,000 vehicles. When you calculate the cost per mile of service per package delivered per year of operation, the LLV becomes one of the most cost-effective vehicle programs in automotive history. Chapter 3. Becoming America's Icon. But the LLV's impact went far beyond postal efficiency. These distinctive white trucks became part of America's visual landscape in a way few government vehicles ever have. Kids grew up drawing LLVs in their pictures of neighborhood scenes. Toy companies made miniature versions. The vehicle appeared in movies, TV shows, and became a symbol of reliable, everyday American service. For postal workers, the LLV wasn't just a vehicle. It was their mobile office, their shelter from the storm, their trusted partner in serving their communities. Many carriers developed genuine affection for their trucks, knowing every quirk, every sound, every mechanical personality trait. Each LLV became unique, reflecting the personality and preferences of the person who spent 8 hours a day inside it. The LLV also became a community fixture beyond mail delivery. These vehicles appeared in 4th of July parades, were used for special deliveries during holidays, and became trusted sites of reliability across the country. During natural disasters, when other services failed, the LLVs kept running. Hurricane Katrina, Superstorm Sandy, California wildfires, postal workers and their LLVs often provided the only connection between isolated communities and the outside world. Chapter 4. the writing on the wall. But even the most well-built machine can't run forever. By the 2000s, cracks were beginning to show in the LLV fleet. Literally and figuratively, maintenance costs were skyrocketing. Parts were becoming harder to find as suppliers went out of business or stopped producing components for 20-year-old vehicles. The average LLV was requiring increasingly frequent repairs, and some were spending more time in the shop than on the road. More concerning were safety issues. These vehicles were designed in the 1980s, before modern safety standards. They lacked airbags, ABS, and other features that became standard in civilian vehicles. As the trucks aged, this safety gap became more pronounced. Environmental concerns also mounted. The LLV's fuel economy, decent for the 1980s, was increasingly inadequate. With growing pressure to reduce emissions and improve efficiency, the Postal Service faced criticism for operating one of the largest fleets of gas-guzzling vehicles in the country. The financial pressure was enormous. The Postal Service, already struggling with declining mail volumes and rising costs, was spending hundreds of millions annually just keeping the aging LLV fleet operational. In 2015, the USPS finally acknowledged the inevitable. They needed a replacement. The Next Generation Delivery Vehicle program was launched, beginning the search for the LLV's successor. It would take nearly a decade to find and select that replacement. The Oshkosh NGDV. Chapter 5. The Final Mile. Next Generation Delivery Vehicle represents everything the LLV isn't. Modern, connected, environmentally friendly, and packed with 21st century technology. It's designed for a postal service that delivers more packages than letters, operates in an Amazon age, and faces entirely different challenges than existed in 1987. But as the first Oshkosh vehicles begin appearing on American streets, the LLVs are quietly disappearing. There are no grand retirement ceremonies, no official farewells. These workhorses are simply being pulled from service, some sold to collectors, others scrapped for parts, many simply driven to postal facilities one last time and never driven again. For the postal workers who've spent decades behind the wheel, it's an emotional transition. These aren't just vehicles being replaced, they're trusted companions being left behind. Some LLVs are finding second lives. Collectors are preserving them as historical artifacts. A few have been converted to food trucks or mobile businesses. Others sit in postal service museums, representing an era when mail delivery was simpler but no less important. But for most Americans, the LLV will simply fade from memory, the way familiar things do when they're part of daily life for so long that we stop noticing them. One day, children will see old photos and ask, why were mail trucks so boxy and white? The Grumman LLV served faithfully for over 3 decades, delivering not just mail and packages, but reliability, consistency, and connection to communities across America. It wasn't the fastest, prettiest, or most advanced vehicle on the road, but it was exactly what it needed to be: dependable. As we say goodbye to this automotive icon, we're not just marking the end of a vehicle program. We're closing a chapter in American history. The LLV era is over, but its legacy lives on in every delivered letter, every successful small business that depended on mail delivery, and every community that stayed connected through the simple reliability of that distinctive white truck appearing day after day, year after year. The end of an era, indeed. But perhaps, in its own way, the perfect ending for a vehicle that always put function over fanfare, service over spectacle,